On the left-hand side, playing Elodie, interestingly enough, in the red, we have SneakyDragon up against Saikoya playing Nuru. And, you know, I heard your comments earlier about Nuru not being the best. So I'm very curious as to, I guess, why both of these picks are happening. I guess I understand Elodie because Golem comes out on defense on this map. And of course, you know, uh, Nuru and Elodie are both like good options against, not Nuru. I've forgotten her name. The vampire lady, Sigrid, that's it. Sigrid is good at countering the golem. But Elodie also, you know, has that option too. But yeah, why Nuru?
It's pretty simple. It's just because um I don't want to get surprised, basically. Um, and like it's more of a pick against Sneaky because I know that you know, Sneaky loves his dragons. I know that he gets some sneaky plays, I guess. And Nuru, like just having every unit at disposal means you have an out to these surprises, I guess. So yeah, it's mostly because I don't want to get any bad surprises. I also think as a player, I deal pretty well with golems, so I don't need like a groove to deal with golems, but I'm more afraid of just dragons covering the entire map and not having the anti-air ready or something.
Yeah, makes sense. I mean, I
But
guess,
there's
yeah, there's also the thing of like if you have your anti-air but your opponent takes it out, then Nuru always has the back pocket of haha, mage.
Yep, exactly. Also, it's because like I've had the tendency to like cross the center with the commander. The last few times I've played Ouroboros, and Nuru can like sort of half do that and like send a night crit across the center. So there's that idea.
Yeah. I mean, there's even stuff like the stronghold is sometimes a little bit wide open. Not wide open, but you get what I mean. Like it can be a bit open at times to pressure, and you can do fun things like, you know, thief steal on a stronghold on this map if they really don't respect you. Obviously, that is not going to happen in high level games, but I guess like the fact that the pressure exists does force your opponent to play more conservatively against it.
Yep. And Sneaky here is taking an interesting approach to this map. He didn't go for like very heavy night pressure early on. He went for more of the slow spear formation that will slowly advance and kill everything approach to the game. But that also means I have time to prepare my defense against Elodie. And against Elodie, you mainly want numbers, so having time to mass up is pretty good for defending against Elodie.
Yeah, I'm seeing like a harpy coming out here, witch as well. But like, I like the archer inclusion actually. I mean, of course I do, but
It's been a while.
has been. I mean, yeah, we've only really seen like a couple archers so far, at least from this top four, and I think one of them died immediately. So, ooh, that Nuru is not looking in a good place right now. Sneaky trying to go for like a wraparound and kill. I think if that village was captured, Nuru would be dead right now. But manages to escape, gets the heal. So actually, maybe not. Maybe that village being captured wouldn't have made the difference. But A little bit of an early attempt there from Sneaky and doesn't quite pay off.
Yep, and I got the spears reinforcing. It is like a little awkward, like how I deal with the harpy, because I don't want to leave the mage in range of a knight. But it covers enough, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess like the thing about harpies is like they're just annoying more than anything.
I mean, harpies are pretty good at defending an area because you have to commit like a certain amount of units to like deal with it. But once once the armies actually start fighting, harpies kind of follow.
Yeah, they don't
They're more
really
of
like.
a low number.
Yeah, they are great at like finishing off certain units and they're great walls, but yeah, they don't kill things very well other than knights.
Yeah, harpies are really, really good against knights. And oh, I remember this mistake I did with the witch. Miscounting the mage range and just losing it like that kind of hurts.
Yeah, that's pretty rough because yeah, I don't really see like a follow-up punish on your side there, so Sneaky just continues to play this kind of slower, methodical play here. Got golems coming up now, so ooh, nice kill on the mage though. And there actually isn't any follow-up anti-air on this side. Like the only thing really available here is Elodie.
Yep, but if Elodie steals a harpy, you're like, great. Now you don't have groove anymore.
Yeah, like that's
Although
not a
sometimes
great play.
can be really annoying.
Yeah, I guess it's a very circumstantial play.
Oh yeah, it's the classic. You expose stuff to Elodie, and then you build a dragon right behind it. So Elodie doesn't want to groove anymore because he wants to save it for the dragon.
Or I guess the other thing there is if Elodie does groove the thing, the dragon just, you know, chomps on her face.
Yep.
As the other that's like I guess the other weakness of Elodie groove is that sometimes she has to like put herself in danger to use it, which is not ideal. What are we looking at here? Elodie, yeah, just safely retreating there.
Yeah, very, very safe.
I mean, I wonder if Sneaky saw
Maybe
the
over.
game with you against Master and was like, I don't want to die like that. Teleport beam, what are we gonna see? Archer, ooh, interesting. I mean, it makes sense, like it is a good way
Yeah,
to...
I think I was having a lot of trouble having like a decent attack into this, so I just went for Archer to be able to break through.
Yeah, I mean, it is a good option. Like, archers, one of their big things is opening holes in walls.
Yep, and also once you have like the two archers behind your army, it's really hard for your opponent to
Attack in.
commit to a fight.
Yeah.
Because you know you're gonna get like good trades every turn.
Yeah, like being able to just like pump crits into your opponent's army is very unpleasant for your opponent, so... And then Sneaky, yeah, that's actually a really good trade for you. And Sneaky just is sitting on Elodie Groove, and I don't know how I feel about it at this point. Like, we're on turn 13. I almost feel like Sneaky should have forced the issue and tried to just grab something like lower value earlier. Because at this point,
But
like
it's the eternal slow charge dilemma. Do you wait to use it, or do you get a lower value groove? You know?
yeah. And in this case, yeah, I mean, it's not working out because, like, Nuru, you've used your groove, you got a very good fight out of it, forced Sneaky back, and I guess we're seeing, like, the kind of typical Ouroboros thing of, like, there's just, like, the wall forming across the middle.
And I got my commander onto my favorite tile.
You did? This is the trademarked Saikoya, like, commander tile right there.
And Sneaky didn't pay to use that tile. I'm just saying.
I mean, Sneaky's also, yeah, on that tile. And I do actually, something I really appreciate is that your army composition is like, while it's very different because you're playing against Elodie, you're making it work. Like, you really do want golems on this map. Like, it is, once you start getting into the late game, they are a fantastic unit. But, like, you are aware that you just can't really build them against Elodie. I guess you could potentially build the one in the south or something to push with, but...
Yeah, but the thing is, like, if you build a golem somewhere, what's gonna happen is Elodie's gonna hop into a balloon and go stand near it. Then that golem is gonna be very sad.
Yeah. But oh yeah, the arms race continues. Like the wall, the Great Wall of Ouroboros is forming on both sides, and it becomes really difficult to advance, but also to defend because like you have to appreciate the micro adjustments your opponent is making every turn.
Yep, but we're starting to fight, and we're getting some hits in there.
Yeah, Sneaky's being very aggressive. I don't quite know about that sword running across the middle, but especially with like the lack of Elodie kind of covering it. But
you're attacking somewhere to just go, okay, I attack everywhere. I don't think it's a bad mentality. But it's it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think that sword is just gonna die. Alright,
yeah, the sword probably dies. But it is blocking stuff like the mage from moving through the center, for example.
Yeah, okay, good. Mage hit coming in there. I was gonna say it's a shame we don't have a witch, but you do have one, it's just not in position to do the hex. Okay, running a knight into a golem, interesting.
Yeah, I just don't want to give up that tile, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, I appreciate these plays of like trying to keep the economy game involved here. Like you're moving units into positions where they could be hit and counter, but I guess you have to, like you have to force village trades to take place, otherwise you are just gonna fall behind. And it's that long term versus short term.
They have to do something, right? They either move south or they hit villages.
Yeah, and ooh, healing the dragon. That's a lot of money to put in. Are we gonna see a turn 16 dog grab? I guess we are. Sneaky, I think, realizes that probably should have used Groove earlier on something else, but it's just like, I have to yoink something, so I'm gonna yoink this.
Yeah, it's very much, okay, this is safe, I'll just go for it now.
Yeah? I wonder if we're even gonna see the dog. I just hits the spear. Okay, it's not the greatest trade ever, but yeah, he had to do something with that groove.
Yeah, but getting some good fights in the north, I think. So grooving there, it's just you know, why not?
Yeah.
And at this point, like, my army comp already has no golems, so you don't gain that much from not, like, using Groove.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, because if there's nothing above, I guess you have your dragon, but there's nothing really above like 600 gold on most of the map. And you know, dogs actually do have some good uses. So, is that dog even gonna live? It is. The dog lives miraculously.
OP.
And I guess it could go and hit an archer now if it wanted to. Alright, more fighting coming in here. Yeah, it's like a pretty good fight actually for you there. Doing quite a bit of damage. I mean, mages and witches still exist though, so I think, you know, this harpy isn't long for this world. But it really just comes down to like who can get the better trades here. And the timer is starting to run low. Ooh, that sword really wanted to knock down that village, I think, but alas, it was not to be. Okay, Elodie gets a kill. And I think this is where Elodie wanted to be earlier. Is yoinking a unit and then using the advantage to start killing more units and getting Groove again.
Yeah. That dog got some value, you know?
It really did. It's still alive too. So like you have to spend a turn to like finish it off. Ooh, big hit on Nuru, but I think the dragon's in a bit of a tough spot now. Okay, spear's coming in for the counterattack. Harpy gets the kill. Dang, I didn't think that was coming. And yeah, sword, reinforcing sword comes in, walks up, kills the dog. Another archer. Ooh, probably would have liked to have shot with the archer first, but ah well.
Yeah, I think it was a maybe I get the roll, and then if not, then you just shoot with the archer.
Ah, okay, fair enough then.
I think there isn't any anti-air in the north, so I just send the dragon over there.
Ooh, big wedge hex. Just everything's just hitting at this point.
I don't remember why I hexed instead of killing the dragons. Probably because I was really annoyed at that golem on the mountain.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess like it's a very frustrating thing to have there. So
yeah, and like I was a.
Oh, you lagged a bit there. I do want to note, actually, those two villages that were taken down along the center line have remained neutral this whole time. So, the economic advantage is being built up because, like, this village has been captured for pretty much the whole time. Is actually pretty significant now. That's like a decent chunk of gold. They've been fighting for a bunch of turns. And that's really starting to build up. And now Saikoya being very aggressive here. Gets the big heal too. Healing on a dragon and a knight is good value. I think that mage was slightly injured too. And then, you know, you've got this witch being annoying. There's nothing actually that can kill here because all of the anti-air is like super weak right now. And Saikoya really trading very well across the last few turns has finally got an army that can push forwards. And I think Saikoya is just, well, not Saikoya, SneakyDragon has just kind of run out of steam at this point. Builds a golem, but I don't know if that's going to be able to do too much. Okay, we've got a mage heal coming down on this side. How is this going to go? Mage attacks the switch from a safe position, but not going to be enough to kill it. And the witch, at this point, like, it's just there to serve as like a hex machine. Ooh, doesn't get the kill on the spear. Elodie really would have liked that. I think that would have built, not Groove, but definitely come close to it. And then when you're looking at getting your second Groove, that is a pretty spooky time. Alright, what do we got here? Mage getting picked off. Big heal comes down. Second big heal comes down. Dragon gonna come in, finish off a dog. Welcome back, Saikoya.
Yep, I'm back.
Yeah, you're just continuing to push this army down. Mage gets killed. I think that means the witch, yeah, can just sit there and hex safely. Even like free fire from your archer onto a golem, like it's not great damage, but it's free chip damage onto a golem.
Yeah, I really like hitting golems with an archer because it really like it means it can tank less stuff next turn, you know? And also your archer doesn't die from the counter attack by hitting a golem.
Yeah. I think one of the really big things there as well is that when a golem's at like 80% health, it doesn't one-shot stuff anymore. And it actually becomes like very, not really defunct, but it means that it's like, its ability to be used offensively is very limited, even though it's just taken like a very small amount of damage. Okay, Sneaky, yeah, just trying to keep fighting. Elodie has groove, so maybe there's like some big play that could potentially happen here, but at this point I think Mage Heal just to reinforce. Dragon's gonna be doing a ton of damage. Witch Hex comes in. And we're just gonna slowly see this army from SneakyDragon get torn to pieces. And ooh, big Mage crit comes in. Second golem goes down this turn. That is a lot of damage, although Nuru's slightly vulnerable, but should be okay. Yeah, lots of units coming in to reinforce.
I calculating that there wasn't a lethal here, but at the same time it's low timer calculations, so I didn't go back to make sure.
Yeah. But I think the smart thing there, I think, was just having a bunch of like low health units in front, because that just means that, like Elodie can't grab anything particularly good.
Yeah.
And we see this like 63% knight getting grabbed. Alright, dogs.
And we are both low on timer here. Although he is much lower than me.
Yeah, he's got like 10 seconds left at the end of his turn. That is not really ideal. And Nuru, there's actually a village nearby that can be used to bring Nuru back to full health. Now it goes for the one that's further back, you know, just to be extra safe.
I could have just popped into the balloon actually.
Yeah, I guess there's like a witch, but yeah. Better to play it safe, and you've got plenty of time left on the clock still to finish this out. When your opponent has like 10 seconds left, you can just like be that person and just walk away.
Yeah, I mean, my attack was kind of like fails here. It stops, like Sneaky stopped the momentum, so I can't really kill the HQ. But I mean, what it achieved is Sneaky now has no more time on the clock, and yeah.
Yeah, and a very beaten up army, and those stats tell a lot. Just the 52 to 38 at the end there. Like I recognize that the fight was going in your favor, but that is significant.
Yeah, and I really like the late game fights on Ouroboros, especially when I get to put my commander on my favorite tile.
Yeah. And I think, yeah, Sneaky just went for an attack that didn't quite pan out. And then it turned into a huge fight across the whole center line, and then he came out on top. That's really all there is to it.
I think it's thanks. I'd like to think it's thanks to the archers at least.
I think the archers played a key role there, especially the one that was summoned. Like that was like put in the perfect position to be used offensively and cover the defensive counterattack potential of Sneaky. So yeah, it worked out well. And Nuru gets a win. I have to say, I very much appreciate the fact that you were able to. I think only you built a golem that entire game.
Yeah, I didn't.
So on a map like this, being able to play out the entirety of Ouroboros is that's actually like really difficult. It's like really hard to like, because I mean for a long time when I was playing and when like the early tournaments that were happening with this map, I say earlier tournaments would be more succinct, but um the standard defense was you build a golem to defend and potentially a dragon, or a dragon and a golem, or two golems. So to see a defense that consisted very much of just Night Harpy was I feel like very interesting to see and worked out really well.
Yeah, and I mean it's something I said before the game started. I think is I'm pretty confident in my ability to fight golems without golems.
That is a definitely a very important skill to have as a player. Because once
Yeah,
golem num
especially once these late game fights start happening. Um, like there's a lot of players that rely too heavily on their golems, and once you take them out, that's a big part of their army gone, and they don't really know what to do afterwards.
yeah. And I guess like if you're building your own golems, it means like your overall army composition is a bit weaker outside of your golems. So when you are going very heavy into golem yourself and you lose your golems, you're kind of just left with swords for the most part, spears, dogs, like lower cost units. Whereas like you kind of had a more kind of rounded army there of like knights, harpies, archers, and you know we saw you able to use those effectively. So yeah, very good game. And I will say, and like this isn't to rag on Sneaky or anything, I do think there was opportunities to use Elodie Groove or force the issue with Elodie Groove earlier. But
I was playing keep away in the early parts of the game against Elodie pretty hard, like with stuff like harpies, like mainly harpies, spears, and like knights to as my main army comp. Because I think knights are pretty good against Elodie because your knights and harpies are a good combo because they have a lot of range, so they can zone from pretty far away.
yeah, that's very true. But I guess when you're late game with Elodie and you get Groove quite early, because like look, let's look at this chart. Turn 7 was when Elodie got Groove, and it was turn 16 when Elodie used Groove on a dog. And that's pretty rough. Not to make a dog pun there, but it is yeah, that's not really ideal.
Yeah. When you just look at that chart and at the later part of the game, you go, why didn't you use it earlier? But I think when you're in the game, it's really hard to find good opportunities for that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of bragging here, but your opponent has to, like, if your opponent doesn't give you a good opportunity, then you can't really use it.
Yeah. Very true too. One last question actually about this map, because I'm fairly sure we're not going to see Ouroboros again. Um, I could be wrong. You could go straight back here in game 2, but how come nobody's going thieves anymore? Have they just gone completely
I
out of the meta on this map?
think because like the opening is really aggro, and the hideout starts decapped, so you don't really. There's no real like thief opening, and then later in the game, you usually have a bunch of units everywhere, so the thief can't really go somewhere where there's nothing to get a steal. And I think it's more because like knights do the thief's job pretty well on their own, I guess.
Yeah, this is a very good night map, it has to be said. So, Yeah, that makes sense. I
Mm.
just remember the days of Ouroboros and people going like three thieves on each side and wagon use and all that stuff. Obviously, the game has changed. I mean, I think the map has changed a bit since then, but also I think the players and the meta has overall changed. So it's just interesting to see. Okay, so I think we're gonna go
I don't
into.
really consider thief in my games, to be honest. It's just because like you want to fight on Ouroboros. You don't want to steal.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, you don't want to play the economic game too much. Okay, makes sense. Well, let's go into game number 2. We'll see how the rest of the set plays out.